then I would share a small presentation, and then we can start. Sagar, in the meantime, if somebody comes, please admit them. There you go. Okay, so welcome to the SIT chat, which we have been doing every Thursday. The idea of this event is mainly to try to talk about topics of interest and need to the startup community. What you see on this slide are the various topics which have been identified. And every week I pick up one topic and then get one of our wise members in our community to share their wisdom. And today our topic will be on how do you decode the startup funding, which is a very key question to many of us. And for that, we have Girish and Amar, who are the founders of Sarthi, and of course, experts in their own field, who would be sharing their wisdom on this topic. Before I hand over to them, a very brief show of our disclaimer, which says that, look, we are doing all this with a very noble purpose. So, and of course, whatever we say here is with the professional background and our experience and wisdom, which goes with that. However, before you use it, please do consult your professionals and be prudent in applying the wisdom and knowledge shared in this platform. With that very brief demonstration show of our disclaimer, let me stop sharing the screen and introduce myself. My name is Dinakar. I am the founder of Samuthána Consultancoaching LLP, a company which I started after I left Bosch in 2013. Since then, I've been doing consulting and mentoring, coaching, mainly manufacturing companies. I would say in the role of something like an on-demand COO to help the companies improve their performance. And in the SIT community, I have taken the role of organizing the SIT chat as a volunteer. With that brief introduction, over to you, Girish and Amar. And we are really very, very eager to listen to your wisdom. And I'm sure today will be an exciting session. Thank you so much. Over to you, Amar. Over to you, Girish. Please.
इंटरव्यू के बाद बात प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी की पीएम मोदी के तरकश में हर वो तीर था.
So sorry, I thought I was presenting, but Modi ji is presenting, so I'm quiet. Modi ji is telling us how to decode investments, so who better than him to tell us? Yeah. So before I start, Amar, I'd like you to introduce yourself, and then I'll take over. I'll give my introduction, and then the presentation, and then open for Q&A. That's the plan for it.
So good evening, everyone, and very nice. Glad to be here, connecting with you all. It's a privilege. So I'm a Bangalorean, 25 years in corporate, worked with brands like Cadbury's, Coca-Cola, Kevin Care, Vodafone, and Reliance Jio. For about close to 6 years, working in the space of startups and mentoring enterprise. A part of Sarthi, I'm one of the partners, and we basically make startups fundable, and we also help startups in raising funds. We also connect them with strategic partners for their growth. So these are the three main verticals that we focus on. And for more details, now Girish would take over and take it forward from here. Thank you.
Thanks, Amar. So before I introduce myself and start my presentation also, I would like to thank SIT and the core team of SIT, Manoj, Dinakar, Sagar, Lakshmikant. I have been a part of this community, I think, around 3 months. And I must say, one of the rare giving communities which is running as per a plan, right? And plan to give, that take is not, it'll come, that confidence that they take. So my compliments and thanks to all of you for creating this wonderful 1,000+ startup community, and also feeding it with the right inputs for this community to succeed, grow, and achieve what it's planned out to achieve. So thank you. Yeah, so my introduction, so I'll be spreading my session, the balance 55 minutes of this session into three parts. First, a short introduction about me. Then I'll take you through a presentation for close to half an hour. And there's a poll also in the presentation. So let's understand the audience. Let's understand who we are. So there's a Mentimeter I'll be sharing, and we'll have that quick poll. And then open to Q&A. The questions were shared of what all will be covering in Startup Funding Decoded. Interesting topic. And I must say, 6 years in the startup world, in the enabling world, another 3 years in the founding world as a startup founder. So all that learning, and the entire team behind Sarthi, including Amar, and we've got a good team who's looking after each vertical. So all that learning is there in the next 55 minutes, and open to questions, open to comments also after that. So I've been a corporate oncho in the first avatar, spent almost 13 and a half years in Fortune 500 kind of companies, consumer durables, and sales, marketing, P&L responsibility. Last assignment was director West for Whirlpool. Then joined a SME for 8.5 years. I was head operations, got exposed to manufacturing, and became the CEO of that SME. Turnover also, SME also grew almost 3x. So saw both sides. And I always had this itch to do something in the startup world since 2008. That time, maybe startup was not popular, and 2012, we did a startup of our own. And we ran it for 3 years in real estate tech. And then my founder took it over post that. And since 2017, that itch was there to build something in the enablement game. It's like, it's so nascent. It's like saying education before education came. So the entrepreneurship, the startup world is so nascent that knowledge is getting created every day. And maybe wrong knowledge also, but it takes time for that sense to come in, that if H plus O2 is equal to HO2, that knowledge takes time to kind of settle down. So we are in that settling down phase. Some knowledge may work. So there's a little amount of trial and error, little amount of science behind what we do in the startup world. Yeah, but sometimes it's irrational also. Whatever we see happening is irrational also. So that's what Enamor does, and happy to share that Sarthi has had a wonderful 2.5-year-old journey, where more and more well-wishers, team members are joining, and I'll be sharing that. So I'll quickly go to my presentation. I've written a book also on my first 2 avatars, the Fortune 500 and the SME, called Experiments in Leadership. It's available on Amazon. Yeah, so this is the topic for today, Startup Funding Decoded. And we'll be answering these 5 questions. Understand the 0 to 1, 1 to 10, 10 to 100 stages in the startup. What are these, and who plays an important role in terms of the founder, team, funding? The different types of startup investors, many of you may be aware of them also. When to approach investors, a critical question. Like, I want to approach investors, but I'm not sure, should I approach now, after I scale, after I do something, should I bootstrap? So all these are critical questions in a startup journey, because finally, if you have to approach investors, you'll have to devote time, effort, energy, and at times get demotivated, even questioning, am I working on the right thing because investors are rejecting me? So all that self-doubt comes in if you get into too many investment pitches and not get success. And how to approach investors, we'll share our intelligence also, how startups should be approaching investors. And finally, the last is more of a comment, because this, I'll ask you who gave this question, whether unicorns are mythical or real. We'll come to that in the last year. So that's the plan. So I've got this Mentimeter. I'll be putting it in the comments also. Request everyone to just take this poll. Yeah. So just take this poll on Mentimeter and putting it in the chat so that we can understand the audience. These are the questions which I put up. Just a question on who are you, right? So are you a founder or future founder? Are you an angel investor, future investor? Are you a mentor, future startup mentor? Just quickly understand the audience. There are 22 people, including me. So at least 20 responses if we can get. Okay, good. 3 founders. 5 founders. An angel and there's an option to put multiple. So if you're a founder plus an angel investor plus, you can put even 2 responses. So I think Amar, your screen is showing some lines on the at least my screen. Others can also see these red lines. I don't know why they came.
Sorry,
Yep.
sorry about that. Sorry.
Okay.
It is
Yes.
not Amar Render, it is Amarnath. Is that red line
It's
you're
not
talking
mine.
about the screen?
Yeah, on the
Okay.
screen I'm seeing some red lines. Yeah.
Yeah, that is on the PPT, right? Who are
No,
you?
it's not on the PPT. Surprising. It's
I can.
It got created now. It's okay, but I think you should give the access only to Girish.
no issues. No issues.
I'm
Someone
I'm
else
sorry.
was
I'm sorry. It happened by me. I'm sorry for that.
okay, no issues so much. Yeah. Yeah. So another 10 odd people quickly take the Menti chat. Yeah. So that we can know the audience, and accordingly I can talk more to the founders or more to a few angel investors or more to the mentors as to how to guide their founders quickly. I know some of you must be having a dinner also, but the time is such that yeah. The rest, I hope you're filling this form. It's a quick Menti form. Yeah, Sanjay,
Is there
just fill
another
it there.
form?
No, I think there are two forms. The next one, I'll go to two questions I'm asking, but I'm just hoping I'll get at least 15 responses for me to more quickly know my audience. Yeah.
There's
Sanjay, you
only
have to put it in the...
one.
Yeah,
I
Dinakar,
already
saying
answered.
something?
Only one question is there.
Yeah, no, now there's only one question. Second will come when I change the slide. No? That time the second
Okay,
question
okay,
will
okay,
come.
okay.
But I'm hoping I'll get more responses, my dear audience. Thirteen responses. Yeah. Two more and then I'll go to the next one.
Yeah, those of you who are not voting, please vote. There is nothing to stop you from voting.
Yeah. Good. So three are other,
And it is
three are
anonymous, so you
mentors.
don't know who is voting what.
Yeah, we don't know who's voting
Yeah.
what. So we've
Vote
got around
के लिए लोग
15
नहीं
responses. Yeah. Yeah. So one is an angel investor or wants to be. There are 8 founders and 9 founders and 3 are mentors and 3 are others. Great. So thanks for taking this poll. The next in the responses, what does a startup? Why does a startup need equity funding? You can tell 1 word, 2 word. Why do you think a startup needs equity funding? So the SME I worked in, they invested their own money. They took a debt from the bank and they started the SME in 25 years back. No startup funding. So why does a startup need equity funding? If you can just comment, you can put more than one comments also, but try and limit your comments to 1, 2 words for sustaining. Okay. Put it in the Menti. Please don't put it here, Bharti. Just put it in the Menti so that everybody can see it. Scaling, yeah, you put it, but just put it in the Menti chat. The chat is there. Yeah, use the link
Use
in
the
that
link
Menti.
on the chat. You will get the access.
And you don't have to log in also. You have to just, yeah. Thanks, Bharti. So good. At least 10 responses when I get, I will move on. So why does a startup need equity funding? Why are you here? You wanted to, okay. They need funding for marketing, for capital expenditure. And as the responses, more similar responses, it will increase the font size of the responses also. Good. So we've got 2 marketing, 2 scaling, sustainability, need shoulder to cry. Right? ऐसा भी चाहिए, shoulder भी चाहिए यार. तो आबेल मुझे मार. So develop MVP. Equity funding for developing MVP. Okay, fine. Yeah. Any quick other responses before I go to my presentation? Scaling exponentially. Okay, scaling exponentially. Good. Marketing, scaling. Strategic support. Funding, strategic support are 2 different. At times, if I give you funding, I'm forced to give you other support also because my money is there and I'm marrying my success to your success. Risk taking 4 months, other. Come on, I didn't understand this.
that is entered by me, risk taking from others' money.
अच्छा,
खुद के
so
पैसे
you want to, हाँ, good. So risk, दूसरे का पैसे से risk, good. Yeah, last 1-2 responses before I go to the presentation. So majority of the people I know, and they may be, they are high integrity people. So if their father gives them money or some investor gives them money, they ideally respect that money equal. Most people I know, and if they lose a lot of investors' money, it will be really they'll be ashamed of themselves. Sorry, that guilt of failure / losing out after winning the investment is really high, and that's why folks are talking about mental health in the startup world now. I think you've taken investor money, you've taken the responsibility to give investor returns on his money. It's not about just taking his money and taking risk, right? So, and it's similar to the risk which, say today, your fund managers take, where they kind of, and they commit you better return than the Sensex. Yeah. So it's similar risk. They're taking your money, investing into equity and committing you to some extent better return than if you would do it yourself or you will put it in an index fund. Right. So good answers. Yeah. I'll go to my presentation. Thanks for taking part in the poll.
Amarji, in the meantime, you can delete those lines using the eraser out there. Anyways, please carry on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually spoiling my graph also. So
Yeah.
So see, the first question I'm trying to answer, the journey, and 0 to 1 is what we understood about building the MVP of my startup and getting that early traction or that proof that the world wants what I am building, right? So this is that graph, and it took us good years of experience to build this graph. And the first stage is, of course, where investors don't support you. Your friends, family, your own money / incubators may give you, or even government might give you grants. So Elevate, a lot of applications to Elevate in Karnataka are basically of this early stage startup. So hoping they'll get a grant. Government believes they are creating something which people in the state of Karnataka may need or world may need, they might give you a grant. So this is that early stage. Is actually a dotted line. Usually there's a solo founder. Lucky there'll be 2 founders, 3 founders, and they're building their proof of concept and their minimum viable product. These are the 2 critical areas. And this is the wrong time to reach out to investors. This is your 0 to 1 journey. And yeah, if you're lucky, if you're a Bhavesh Agarwal who's done a Ola, he's got a Ola electric idea, and he goes to Mathusudhi Son, and Mathusudhi Son says, unicorn, take 100 million. And then Bhavesh Agarwal sits on 100 million for 2 years, dabbling between multiple products. They were doing EV charging, they were doing EV e-rickshaws. They were, for 2 years, Ola didn't want to produce 2-wheelers. And after 2 years, they decided to become 2-wheelers. So rarely in this stage do, if you are, as I said, if you've got a reputation behind you, then you may attract investor attention in this survive phase. Yeah. So otherwise, best people to support you is the friends and family in this journey. Yeah. Then as you got your MVP, you got your proof of concept, kind of closing that 0 to 1 journey, right? So that's where investor becomes interested. There's a classic quote in the investment world that if you survive for 3 years, we'll look for you. You don't need to look for us. Investors will look for you if you survive for 3 years with your idea and product in the market, because it takes a lot of effort to survive for 3 years with 0 revenue, burning 10 lakhs also a month. So that's why the survival is critical. And once you cross that, it becomes the 1 to 10 journey. 1 to 10 journey is what we call the early revenues and scale journey. So there, accelerators support you to quickly scale from 1 to 10. So we've seen startups growing their revenue by 10x also in a year. So they were doing 1 crore previous year, they've done 10 crores in the next year. So what if losses have also gone up? This is where investors fund. And usually in this stage, seed investors fund, angels fund in this stage. Y Combinator also comes in this stage, right? So he also wants ideas which he can scale quickly. So one is proof is there, and the 1 to 100 journey, they will support it. So this is a striving. And if you see the yellow arrows or the orange arrows, whatever color you can see, the risk is the maximum in the survival phase, as I mentioned, where you are in that 0 to 1. So nobody wants to touch/invest in that phase. The next, the risk reduces. So from 4 arrows, it's become 3 arrows. Still, it's risky. So that's why institutional investors rarely touch startups who are striving. They want angels. They want other people to give that confidence. So if you've got Vicom as a person who's saying you are good, Sequoia becomes interested in you. Others become interested in you because they feel that, okay, Vicom ne to acha assessment kiya, the selection rate is only 2%. So why don't we also look into this matter? So this is that 1 to 10 journey where angels/seed funds invest, and usually the ticket sizes are sub $500,000 or sub 4 crores. Usually you raise money unless it's a prestigious MVP. So I'm building satellites, rockets, or something like that. It might happen that you may need more seed funding, but usually this ticket size is up to 4 crore or $500,000. Then comes the 10 to 100 journey. Now VCs like what you are doing. They believe you're solving unsolved problem. You are only in India. They see opportunity for US customers to also get benefit from what you created. Yeah, you're only in one city. They see you going to 3, 4, 5 cities. They come in and they support you in that 10 to 100 journey, which is the thrive journey, which we call. Again, you grow 10x using VC money. So from that 10 crore ARR, you can touch 100 crore ARR with VC money. And VCs cut usually $1 million plus of check. And they take responsibility for the multiple rounds. So they usually give a check now with a commitment that if you touch these milestones, I'll give you the balance 50% or 30% of investment after touching that milestone. So they are your long-term partners, and they see an exit only post 4 years, 5 years. So they are not in a hurry to get a return from them. And they even support up to IPO at times, right? If the startup is IPOing in, say, 6, 7 years, because the late stage VCs today are less active. So the SoftBanks, the Tigers, people used to cut 100 million checks till, say, 1.5 years back. They are hardly cutting even 50 million or 25 million checks. So if you go through the investment report of 2023, hardly any, except for the Reliance Geos and all, which is, I don't call that startup funding. It's more of PE, which is funding what they are doing. Yeah. So this is the 3 critical stages of a startup, and different factors are required and different. So in the first stage, it's the founder and the idea which is most critical. The success is the founder, one founder may, and the idea. The second stage, the team comes in. So as you get seed funding, you're supposed to build that first level team who's going to execute your idea. The founder cannot do everything. So that 1 crore to 10 crore journey, the founder needs the right team to take it to the next level. And then with the VC money, you need the right kind of second layer team. You need the right kind of partners to take you in that 10 to 100 journey. So this is kind of the 3 parts in a startup's journey. As I said, 0 to 1, high risk. So do it with your own money or own efforts. 1 to 10, use angels, use seed funds, micro seed funds who fund up to $500,000/4 crores. And VCs come in, post that, they fund $1 million upwards. And they also fund multiple rounds to take the startup even up to IPO/large exits, buyouts, anything. So quite some effort went into this, and who you have to approach, who you have to target at the right stage is very critical for the start. And these are the success factors defined by Bill Gross. Now, Bill Gross has invested into 100 plus startups, and when he decides whether to invest, it's a VC. Bill Gross is a VC. He decides to invest based on timing. So classic example of timing is like, I know someone who was interested in investing into the EV space 10 years back. This was 2012, 13. And there were EV players even that time, but they all shut down. So nobody knows Electrotherm and like that. There were EV players who were investing into EVs that time, and nobody knows of them also. So that they were early, very early to their times. And that's why they didn't get the benefit of what a Ola or a Ather is getting. Then the team and execution. At times, there's a bias also. So VCs believe that if you're IIT, IIM, second-time founder, your probability of success is higher. Although I strongly believe that's a bias. That's not the fact. Yeah? Third is the idea. It's not first. So we rush into pitching our idea, and we, as founders, we are in love with our idea. So we believe it's the world's best and we believe that's the success factor. No, it's the third success factor. And fourth, of course, everywhere you're reading about startups, you're reading that sustainable, we are looking for sustainable startups. What they mean is, have you put the business model in place? Have you started charging customers for what you are giving them? And is it profitable in the long term, if not the short term? So these are the 4 success factors Bill Gross looks at when he's investing into a startup. Yeah. So this is the critical slide just to explain you the 0 to 1, 1 to 10, and 10 to 100 journey. I'll take questions at the end, unless someone is very keen to ask a question. Happy to take it in the middle, but otherwise I love questions at the end. So we kind of, how do you decide where are you? It might be confusing. You might believe you are 0 to 1, someone else might believe you are 1 to 10. So how do you decide where you are? We've created this 5-minute test on our website, right? So on our website, there's 11 questions we've created for a startup to, and it's a self-assessment. So in 5 minutes, you can know where you are in that 0 to 1, 1 to 10, rarely that 10 to 100 journey also. So the first question is number of founders, and we are asking you to count part-time founders as 0.25. So if you're a solo founder in the 0 to 1 journey, it's like, as someone from the outside, I would look at it as you not being able to convince to someone to join the boat. Yeah, this boat is going to go to unicorn, Beto isme, and we will together take it to the unicorn. There'll be 2 people who will be rowing that boat versus me alone rowing that boat towards unicorn or towards something big. So this is the first check of how many founders are taking this boat up to that success which you have envisaged or you have dreamt of. The second question is, how well do you know the problem? Right? So the startup which I was mentioning, the real estate tech startup, we were not in the real estate business. So the first revenue we clocked was after 12 months, and a lot of trial and error. A lot of do this, don't do this. Why? Because we didn't know the problem which was there in that industry. We just saw it outside as a customer. So I feel this is a problem which I can solve, and I'll go ahead and solve it. So that takes a lot of trial and error, and that may lead to run out of cash, may lead to burnout after that. So how well do you know the problem which you are solving? And here we are saying, like, some of you may be knowing about the Dunning-Kruger effect. This says that initially in the first 6 months, you believe you know the problem the best. But as more and more learnings and more people who are aware of that problem come in front of you, realize, no, there's more to it than just me knowing everything about the problem. So beware of that overconfidence bias or Dunning-Kruger effect. That's what we are saying in the second question. Yeah. Then domain experience. So ideally, if you know that space, you spend 10, 15, 20 years as an employee or as someone in that space. So then it gives investor confidence. Okay, you know that space and you're solving a problem. So Zoom, the software we are using, Zoom, the founder of Zoom was an employee of I'm forgetting. And he, in fact, were telling them to upgrade and make it more user-friendly, the UI UX of their software more friendly, and they were not listening. And that's how Zoom was born. So he was inside that company and he created Zoom outside, and today it's worth 10 billion and above. So if you're inside that industry, you can solve that problem better because you've got that domain experience. The next question is about startup experience. So I know of a founder in the live commerce space who was a CXO in a company at a very high position. So first thing he did when he created his startup was he hired vice presidents. He took a flashy office, and he was zero revenue for 3 years. Again and again, accessing investors based on his credentials that I'm ex-CXO of this domain. So come and invest into me, right? But that shows lack of startup experience. Some of you would have read Lean Startup, where it forces you to think small, because both time and money can become your enemy. The less you have, the better. You'll be able to experiment quickly and come to the aha moment or the eureka quickly instead of doing it in a long time, right? So that's why the startup experience is very critical. Otherwise, you might do the corporatish way of hiring vice presidents, taking a flashy office, and then not able to book revenue. Right? Now, the next question is about market size. So, approached by a founder, and she said, like, see, all ladies like to carry these fancy purses, but they cannot afford it. So I have this idea of renting out high-end purses worth, say, 10,000 upwards, and I'll lend it out to them. Seemed like a decent idea because she felt she as a customer would like such a service. She went ahead and wanted to work on the idea. The market size seemed small, especially in a place like India, where how many of folks would be interested in renting out a purse to show up in their kitty parties or such. So like that, check how big is the market, and from all three levels, the total addressable market, the serviceable addressable market, and the serviceable obtainable market. All three, how big is, and here it's talking about the serviceable market when you are considering market size, and up to 10 billion. If the higher the market, the better it is that you can target it. Yeah. Now the next question is, what stage are you in? I showed you that graph. So, and it explains also the stage that you just have a product design, then you are one. If you're in the alpha stage, you've got something to show as a MVP. You've got a minimal demoable product, mark 2, like that. And if you've commercially launched and you're booking revenue with your product, you can mark 4 or 5. So the next question is about experimentation quotient. So now founders normally think linear. I'll experiment with one POC with one TG. I'll try for 3-6 months. I'll fail. I'll go to another TG with another POC. That takes a lot of effort and may lead to burnout quickly. Rather, if you're experimenting with 5 TGs with 5 POCs, it increases your probability of success. You may get that eureka moment before and earlier. So you are spending with multiple TGs, you are doing multiple POCs, finding out what is that right product which the world wants and which is not solved. So that's the next question of experimentation quotient about your startup. And then next question is about differentiation. So there was a startup who approached us saying that I can do 8-minute delivery. Can you get us funding? I said, see, already there's so much of bad blood that 10-minute delivery is also not happening. It's happening in 20, 30, 40 minutes. And you are saying you'll do 8-minute delivery. And already it's crowded. One of them, Danzo, is already under crisis and not able to pay salaries. So now, is that differentiation enough for the customer? 10-minute to 8-minute for you to kind of take over the market. So that's from 1-day delivery to 10-minute delivery was a big, and everybody was forced, including Big Basket, Amazon, to follow Zepto and the others. Yeah, everybody is forced, and today everybody is doing fast delivery, 1 hour delivery or less than 1 hour delivery, including Big Basket, because the market share they were losing because of that. So Big Basket created Big Basket now to kind of respond to Zepto and others. Yeah. So that's the differentiation quotient, how differentiated you are versus your nearest competitor. Because investors want to fund differentiated products, no more Me Too's. Initially, it was easy. So Bhavesh Agarwal copied Ola as Uber in India. The Bansal, Sachin Bini Bansal copied Amazon as Flipkart in India. 20 years back, 15 years back, it was possible. Now, India is changing so fast, and people are realizing also not all business models you copy from US to India will work. So Airbnb, at least 3 startups I know of tried Airbnb in India and they failed, right? So at times it works. You copy a business model from a developed market to a developing market, but not always that it will work. So that's the differentiation quotient we have in our 5-minute test. The next question is about traction. So how many paying customers / 10K plus downloads do you have? So as I mentioned, the 0 to 1, you have to have proof, and proof is revenue. You should have X number of downloads or X number of revenue before you kind of believe that you've reached that 0 to 1 journey. So all these questions give us proof, right? And then 2 more questions. One is on product market fit. And again, product market fit means users love your product so much that they recommend it to others. That's the question you should ask users. And PM of 50 plus is considered to be good by investors. Should ask that question, and I ask it anonymously, ideally. And we have a PM, like it comes through NPS score, and we have an NPS score of 60. 50 plus NPS score is considered good in terms of product market fit, ID 3.54 of product market fit. And again, there are founders who are saying, I'll shut down if I don't get funding. And of course, we had a founder in Shark Tank also cried saying, yeah, I need money very badly. But finally, he sold his startup, Ganesh Balakrishnan. Right? He sold Flatheads. So what? So much publicity he got, but nobody's going to fund a startup which is running out of cash, because we know that it's a sinking ship and no amount of money can save it. Only it will go, bad money will go after bad execution. So this is the 5-minute test we created, and a score comes in based on which it kind of gives you proof on that 0 to 1, 1 to 10 journey mainly. Right? 5 to 10 to 60, most likely even that 1 to 10 or even 1 to 100 journey in rare cases. So I'll quickly go back to my presentation. Any questions? WebEx, yeah, right, Dinakar, it was WebEx. The ex startup of the Zoom founder, WebEx. IBM had it, not IBM, someone else. Cisco had it. Cisco's WebEx, yeah. So this is, now one is we just reject the startups who are not fundable. Now we said, boss, we want to do more. These startups and 90% plus get a score of less than 50, meaning they are in that 0 to 1 journey. So we created a program for these startups, and in fact, cohort 12 is running currently. Any of you interested to attend just as an observer also for any of this course, you are welcome. You can see what kind of work we do, because we want to complete this 0 to 1 journey using strategic frameworks instead of trial and error. What happens if you do it through trial and error? It leads to high failure rate, burnout, run out of cash, right? So the more you do it using strategic frameworks, the more the probability of you completing that journey with less money and less time is proven. Until date, 60 plus startups have done this cohort. This cohort was in collaboration with IIM Calcutta's Angel Network. So they will consider the startups for investment who are maturing on demo day. So on demo day, we select champions, and champions, we kind of guarantee funding. We're saying that we like what you are doing. So we'll be investing into you through our own angel networks, RT Angels, and IIM Can like other angel networks. So this is what we do. One is most other people will reject and leave the startup. Sarthi is the rare ecosystem where you're saying we'll work with you to make you fundable instead of just rejecting you, saying you're not fundable. Jo karna hai kar lo, work on your own. We are working with startups to make them fundable. And this is the latest. So AIML, we've got investors who are asking us, do you have AIML startups? So our next cohort 13 will be a AIML cohort, where we'll be working mainly with AIML startups. Again, we don't want just the covering of AIML, because we know many startups have added AI after the chat GPT has come in saying, I'm the chat GPT of finance and the chat GPT of K-12 education. But we don't just want that cover. We want you to, that's why it's written real world problems that transform core processes and our business model. Then we've given the sectors also, manufacturing. And we believe that India has as much, Indian startups have as much opportunity as any in the world to solve these real world problems. And there are a few who are doing it also, right? So that's what this program will kind of give us, that 35, 40-day window where we'll go deeper into what problem are you solving and is it really powerfully solved by AIML? So this is our latest offering. And the next cohort, which will be week 4 October, it will start, will be an AIML cohort. So this is our vision. Finally, we want to increase the success rate for founders, for investors, by installing this deliberative strategy approach. Of course, it's taking a lot of energy because founders are of their own mind. They believe, I know the answer, but I don't need anyone else to. So we're saying at least seek validation. You know the answer, you'll get validation that the answer you want is what the world also wants. So seek that validation through this program if you are in that 0 to 1 journey, right? And of course, the core of the setup is the entrepreneur's mind, our thought process. So each cohort, we'll have a new set of mentor investors. Mentor investor means someone who's committing that when you become fundable, I'll also be investing into your startup. So what if it is a small amount of 5 lakhs? But I'm putting my money where my mouth is. And therefore, that synergy or that same effort to reach the goal is higher, right? And we've got frameworks. The other side of deliberative strategies, of course, the generic approach, intuition, I know the answer, hunch. And for your information, 90% of startups have a score of less than 50, which is that they are in the 0 to 1 phase only, right? So the Minds program is best suited for that. But you've got various reasons. When the founders say, I can put that effort to work on converting 2 more customers. 2 more customers, whether that decision, whether have I chosen the right strategic direction to reach my goal of completing the 0 to 1 journey. That's that give and take which you have to take. Yeah. So this is what we have built, and I'm happy to say that the heroes are in this are the frameworks. It's not about what I know or Amar knows or anyone else knows. And we will assess / enhance. So in these 40 days, you'll get that validation. What you're building is, wow, the world needs it. Or you'll get some gaps, 2-3 areas to work on. Specific. Do these and you'll reach these KPIs, and we'll get that proof that you are solving this unsolved problem and the world wants what you are building. Right? And then we will provide good investment opportunities through our own angel network, partner angel networks, VCs, family offices. Yeah. So this is, and we assess, even the startups we assess, we have 3 layers, 5-minute test, 15-minute call, 2-week assessment, where we go deeper into total 14 areas, 10 areas of enterprise strength, 4 areas of returns potential. Same, we also assess in the Minds program. In the Minds program, we'll help you build. In the VIP program, we'll just assess and tell you that you are fundable. Let's take you to investors. So 14 areas where strategy frameworks are applied by us for startups. And of course, we look for flags. So we don't give you a big report of 30 pages and you say, yeah, I can't work on 30 priorities. We'll give you that max 3 to 4 priorities to work on, what we call critical success factors / flags, which will work on and make your startup fundable. And you've got total 4 verticals. VIP, as I mentioned, is funding. from angel networks, VCs. Minds is where we make startups fundable. Partner is where we've curated this data is old. We've curated 50 partners across marketing, finance, technology, and lovely use cases. Debt at only 11%, or CFO as a service, or digital marketing at the right prices, because we know startups' money is they're burning capital, so to say. So you have to be very careful as you are spending money. And govern is our latest vertical, and I'm happy to share that investors are asking us, because see, founders have lost trust of the investment community in the last say 6 to 12 months with the Byju's, Go Mechanics, all these kind of issues happening. Investors are saying, "Yari, kaise log hain? I thought IIT, IIM, they'll respect my money and treat it as their own money, but they've misused," or even BharatPe, right? So we are saying we'll install governance in these Series A level startups who've got multiple stakeholders and founders, mentors, investors, and we'll not only do a G-check, governance check, we'll also install governance. This is for Series A level startups, and VCs are helping, using us to install governance in their investee startups. So the next question which I wanted to answer is, see, the database of investors is all across. There may be around 1,000 to 2,000 angel networks, platforms, and angel networks also, 50% angel networks operate solo. So they will decide where they invest in. They don't operate in syndicates. So it's quite a maze. And if you plan to do it alone, one founder / a senior resource will have to give 70-80% time to this effort, right? In terms of reaching out to these investors on LinkedIn or on their email IDs. And again, there's a SOP, what detailing you have to give in them. You cannot give too much detail also. You cannot give too less also. So there's the right approach to them. How often should you send reminders? So it's a kind of tough job. If you're doing it second, third time, it becomes easier because you've already raised money. So investors also know you. But the first time, it's quite a big maze to pass through to reach the right investors for your fundraise. Second is you can hire professionals to do that work for you. Both opportunities are open. And mainly professionals charge success fees. So they don't lead you with retainer or some flat fees. They mainly charge success fees. So they're marrying their success with your success in this year. So that's the third question which was there in that form. Yeah, and the last question before we open for Q&A. Now, I would love anyone to tell me, are unicorns mythical or real? And who started this conversation? Why did this conversation start? That unicorns are mythical creatures. Anyone? Anyone can tell me? At least tell me, are unicorns mythical or real?
Mostly mythical.
But there are 112 or 102 unicorns, depending upon whatever data you take in India. That's mythical or that's real?
It depends on what
Most
kind
of
of
them-
valuation.
Sorry, one by one. Yeah.
It depends on what kind of valuation system you are using.
Yeah, so somebody used some system and told that, okay, I'm giving you funding at this valuation, which is a unicorn valuation. So he trusted on his system. That's why he invested on that system. Someone else may or may not trust, but the person who invested trusted in his analysis / process before cutting his check or her check.
See, business in the basic sense should be that at the end of the day, I should make money, right? So if it is just the virtual valuation and at the end I am the losing money, right? I mean, all these things is the virtual. So
Right.
that's why I call
That's
it a
how this
mythical.
started actually. Kunal Shah put this tweet saying that unicorns are mythical because of the pressure on the Kunal Shah or the Vijay Shekhar Sharma saying, boss, justify your valuation. Someone has given you that after a lot of trust and confidence in what you are doing. Now justify it. Do IPO, let the world also tell that what valuation the private investor gave you, the public investor is also giving you equal or more valuation. So unicorns are real. So there are 102/107 unicorns. Anyone can tell me how many listed unicorns are there? The listed unicorns means listed companies with a valuation of 8,300 crores. Anybody can tell me how many are there? Any guess? Anybody can tell me how many listed companies with a valuation of 8,200 or 8,300 crores? Even plus or minus 25 is also okay. Google may not give you quickly. I'll tell you otherwise. There are 371 listed companies with a valuation of 8,000 on Indian bourses. Yeah, 371 only. So technically, private investors are valuing 1/3 of unicorns, and public investors are valuing 3x of, and these public unicorns are 20 years, 30 years, even more than that old. Yeah. So that's the power of the startup world. So much value has already been created and more is expected. That's why from the government to everybody is really excited about India's startup ecosystem and hoping it to scale to never seen before heights. Yeah, so that's about my presentation. Happy to take questions which Amar and I will answer.
So thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Girish and Amar. It's been really very, very enlightening, in terms of information. It's been also, what should I say, very interactive, whatever we heard till now. Thanks a lot for that. See,
thank you.
Before anybody, I had one very simple question. See, there are a lot of people in India who keep getting various ideas of a business. It could be people call me up and tell that, sir, no, business ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. I'm telling in Kannada. It is basically that I want to do a business. And then I asked him, what is it that you have done? He said, I've done BCA, or I've done BCom, or I've done my 12th standard. But I see that my neighbor has got a hardware shop. So can you suggest to me what kind of business I can do? Like that, there are at least every week I get about 3 to 4 calls. Now, everybody seems to have thought that, look, startup is something which is fostered by the government and there is a lot of encouragement. How would you define, how would you respond to somebody like that? People have a lot of idea. A lot of people want to do something. In our country, the younger generation especially, many of them don't want to work. They would like to do something on their own. So, but they may not know, they may not have any core competence. In the sense, they may not have had a fantastic solution. But they have the urge to do something. How do you go about addressing that kind of a population?
Amar, you want to address that or should I?
Go on, Girish. I think you should take it.
Yeah, so see, the difference between a startup and regular entrepreneurship is what I see: the person opening a new bakery, person opening a new packaging unit is not a startup, right? So that's why there's a difference between entrepreneurship and startups. So startup, the definition of startup is a temporary organization designed to solve unsolved problems, right? So a P-Safe came in because women didn't have menstrual hygiene when they were traveling on highways, right? So P-Safe came in born to solve an unsolved problem. It was, he didn't make another sanitary pad or he didn't make another, right? So he was solving an unsolved problem using innovative solutions, right? So that's a startup. So immediately when you speak to someone, if you are seeing him solve a solved problem, it's not a startup then. Another bakery, another Udupi I want to create, although Rameshwaram Cafe is a startup. I really love what they've achieved with whatever they've done in Bangalore. But technically, startup is solving an unsolved problem using innovative solutions.
But for them, they also, one of the key challenges for everybody is some kind of a funding. Okay. So in that case, they would basically should not be looking at angel investors or
0 to 1, ideally, no. Unless you are a second-time founder or like most of the people raise funding from friends, family, their ex-bosses, someone IIT, in the IIT network. So I know he's my batchmate. So if you see that first degree network is which invests into your idea in that 0 to 1 space. First degree network could be your alumni network, could be your friends, family, right? First degree network. No second degree network would invest.
Yeah, and
And
just
also,
a follow-up question to that. For
and
such kind of people, is there any kind of a formal advisory activity or a mentorship program available? Who have just an idea to start something, they're really excited, really enthused, but if you go to a startup mentor, then it's a startup. It doesn't qualify there. And
so there is Founders Institute, and there are such institutes where you can
that is
work
what
on
Naveen runs, right?
Yeah, Naveen, no. For
Naveen
Naveen is
Lakoor.
no, that's different. Founders Institute is a US who's got an India
I
chapter
think he's
also.
doing that in India,
It
right?
was I think 3 years back or 4 years back. Currently, no. 4 years back he was doing it. Currently, someone else is running it, founders. So that there are such spaces where you go in with the idea and you can practice Founders Institute or such places.
But in your portfolio, that doesn't come into the. No.
They can come to minds, but as I said, it's too early for someone. He doesn't know the problem, doesn't know the idea. So we'll understand from others. Okay, how did they reach, say, 0 to 0.5 or 0 to 0.7? So they can come as observers. Happy to invite them for free as observers to some of the sessions.
Okay, thanks, Sum. Thank you.
Dinakar, I'll just add a couple of more points to that conversation, which was a very nice conversation. One is why we say that at that stage they need to go to the family and friends is also because these are the people who are likely to be very critical. They don't agree, since they know you inside out. They are the people who are generally very critical. So if you can convince them to invest in an idea, that means you really have a great idea, right? So that's also one of the ways of actually validating your idea. How good you are, and are you really a great storyteller in terms of able to get the validation from your family and friends. That's one part. And just to add to the other piece that you were discussing about idea stage coming into Sarthi. Yes, the framework would work great even for the idea stage startups. But what we have seen in our experience is that there's a lot of flip-flop at the very early stage or idea stage startups. They would start with one, and then suddenly, when the second round of our mentoring program or the framework, they will pivot to something else. And at the fourth stage, they will pivot to something else because they are learning something new as they go along. And too much of flip-flop is there for us to, have a very sustained mentoring with them. So that's what is our experience.
Thanks so much. Hemant, would you like to go on, please? Please introduce yourself and then you can ask your question or comment.
Should you want me to write my question in the comment or just go ahead?
You can do, yeah, continue.
Hey guys, I'm Hemant.
But introduce yourself.
Sure, yeah. I'm Hemant Nagpal, founder of a platform named Your Books. This is something similar to Zoho Books or something. My idea was to, like, at this point in time, 80% or 85% of the people in India are dependent on Tally to do their accounting for the system, which is really hard to understand by the entrepreneur or maybe a normal person. Anyone has to go to Tally training program to understand or how to create invoices and all through Tally. So I wanted to solve that problem. I wanted to solve it for myself, and then gradually I developed this platform. Now the question is, platform is developed, and I'm whole and soul. The single founder of the company, and the problem I'm facing right now is every responsibility lies with me, starting from the development, marketing, sales, closing deals, and everything. I want someone to come and support, like as a partner or maybe co-founder, but with some money so that he or she has some skin in the game. Otherwise, you just ask that there's a developed platform which is ready to be sold. I have subscribed customers as of now. Users are using it for more than 2 years. I want someone to come into the picture to support me. Why I'm asking for the money is, so that he or she has some skin in the game and is really serious. The same level of seriousness he or she has. As serious I am for my product.
What's the question?
I don't want to waste my time to impress an investor. How shall I take it? Investors, of course, need those kind of slides and all, and want to see my revenue and what kind of product you have. I don't want to waste that time as well. So what is the right approach? Finding the co-founder, or just go for the funding who can come into the picture just with the money, or maybe supporting the product, doing the marketing sales of the product?
How much do you want to answer? Oh, sure.
It's a tough one, Hemant, and ideally, there are 3 approaches you can take to this. One approach is to go to a lot of networking opportunities and really find someone with a common or a similar mindset, and then find somebody. It's more like getting into a dating app, right? But something that works better than that is there are 2 things that we can look at. It is try to just focus on building a strong team which can rally around you. And in that, likely that, there is one partner who's going to emerge, can be a co-founder. So that's the second approach that you can take. And the third approach that you can take is focus on building a community which can deliver the KPIs that you're looking at. And in that community, people will emerge who can be a possible co-founder for you. So these are the practical approaches that you can take.
So should not go for the, some funding sort of thing who can come.
It will emerge from your understanding that some of them might be willing to add value by bringing in capital. But you might also realize in the process that, hey, there is much more than just capital, and what they bring in as an intellect could be a larger value than just the money that they will bring on the cap table.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah, Bharti, you can go ahead. Bharti wanted to ask a question.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm Bharti, and I'm actually into garment business in Mumbai. My question is very simple. As you said, 0 to 10, that journey. So now we have been into the business and we've created a proper brick and mortar system doing exports in a very different niche segment. However, now so I had anyways identified the problem around 7 years back, but to get the data from ground level and other stuff, we wanted to prove that this business is doable, scalable, all of it. So we created a brick and mortar system. Now we want to develop a tech platform for the same, so that what we are doing today with like 10 clients, we are able to do with say 1,000 clients at the same time. My question is very simple. From day one, we started and we have been profitable, obviously not reaching that 1 CR benchmark that you said. However, whatever we made, we've been sustainable, profitable, and I have a team and everything on place. Now, the problem we are facing is we do not have the right amount of technical know-how to build the tech platform. I've tried outsourcing it to certain individuals and companies, but they're just not able to give what we want, and we've been losing a lot of money. So what should be our approach now that we are ready? We know that we can build up the MVP based on our knowledge. How should I go about building the actual platform, a small MVP, so that we can start the traction on that 10x scale? Thank you.
Yeah, Amar, you can take it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bharti, the most simplest answer I can give is please get in touch with us. We have partners who can help you get it done for you. But just to answer in a slightly for people who might want to understand this process very well. See, one of the critical factors that a lot of startups and founders do not evolve in is building something called as a technology roadmap. So if you're able to kind of create a technology roadmap where you understand that, hey, this is where is my starting point, and 5 years down the line, this is where I see myself, and this is the kind of scale that I'm looking at. And then what are the different elements that I would want my platform to have, or my system to have, that would bring in a lot of clarity in terms of what are you trying to build. And from there appears the scope of work document for the technology partner who can help you to build it. So if you really want to build something scalable and sustainable over a longer period of time, find the right technology partner. It's very difficult to get technology partners. We have ourselves struggled a lot to get good technology partner. That's the most difficult part. And then give them a proper technology roadmap and then scope of work, so that they understand they understand your lingo, from where you are coming from and what is it that they are wanting to deliver. And then they actually give the outcomes that you actually expect from the technology.
So may I say something about it?
Yeah, please.
You're right. Getting technology partner is the most difficult of it, I guess. But so the roadmap, everything that needs to be given to the person to develop is being done by us. Algorithm, flowchart, how to connect which dot. but that's a hard copy. It's like on a pen and paper, we've been able to sketch it out completely, a deck, a working deck. Is there some sort of like, how to identify the right technology partner? Because we are now, we're not looking for someone to take, I don't know, a lot of energy and money from the company and still not, deliver.
Bharti, I put Amar's number in the chat. Maybe you can
Okay.
continue one-on-one
Yeah,
with Amar.
so what I would
Yeah.
suggest is you can get in touch with us because we already have vetted partners who can do it for you.
Okay, sir.
But more critical piece is that one of the challenges for the startup is that they have to do a lot of trial and error. In fact, that is one of the reasons why we have partners, so that they don't do the trial and error and lose money and time in the process.
Yeah, may I add
Thank
some and also ask a follow-up question? See, if I look at my experience and the experience of my clients, I do consulting for manufacturing companies. What the problem Bharti said, I can resonate that in a very, very big way. Because moment you go to a developer, they are talking about crore, at least, for whatever platform that they build, or it would be running in terms of tens of lakhs. And most of the time, the guy has really not understood what the problem is and what platform has to be built. So I feel, if I may add, that particular area is something which is very, very, what should I say, gray in the market today. Could also be a good opportunity to create a business idea out of that, to really see that whether you can, how to bridge that gap. And what is your thought on that? I see that regularly, almost regularly. Because you have got a developer does something, he's talking about making, because I just take another minute to conclude my thought. See, because most of the developers in India are used to getting the orders from the IT partner in a company. A company has an IT partner who has basically done the initial business analysis and defined how the entire structure should look like. And then the third-party developer is basically creating a software to accomplish that goal. But the bridge between the end user and the IT developer is something which is extremely great. If you know anybody, please let me know. And again, Bharti, whatever I have been doing with my clients, I can also be of help to you. I'll also share my number. You can also get in touch with me. Now, Amar or Girish, do you know people who are really good at that particular expertise?
So I'll break that up into two parts, Dinakar. I think it's a very valid point that you asked, and something that Bharti and rest of the startup founders also should look at it. See, typically, if you look at how technology platforms were built earlier, even from great IT companies and stuff like that, you always had somebody called as a domain expert sitting in their office, right? So these domain experts or business consultants, as they were called, they would take up the issue of a particular industry, what they want to build, and then basically translate that in the technology language for the developers to build that particular platform. Now, if you look at any tech guy today that you get as a tech partner, this gap is completely, unaddressed. This is not taken care of. Okay. How we can support them is that we actually are able to understand the requirement of the business, and then we bridge that gap of saying that, okay, this business actually requires this kind of an output, and this is the actual translation of what it means to be for a developer. So that whole piece is completely gone missing for the startup world, and hence a lot of trial and error happens, and then people build a platform and then figure out that this doesn't work out the way I want it to work. And then there's a lot of heartburn about the missed time and opportunity and the cash that they burn in the process. So this is the link that is completely goes missing.
So maybe then we should somehow meet offline and try to see how do we bridge this gap, because I've got quite a few clients who have a problem.
We have already bridged it, Dinakar. So you can meet us.
We'll
kind of explain to you.
Let us understand, offline.
Yeah,
Actually,
we have figured out a solution for this.
And I'll just add, when you don't have money, you become innovative. So because startups don't have that 15, 20, 50 lakhs to put in technology, they became innovative, and therefore the partners also became innovative. And they discovered open source tools to solve your problems. Maybe they solve it at 60%, 70%, 80% efficiency, but they do solve your problems to first extent. build the MVP, to go from MVP to the next well? Because we've seen
No,
many
Girish,
startup founders
the
burn
point,
15, 20 lakhs and then realize the technology is not doing what it was supposed to do. They built the entire tech stack and the technology is not doing what it was supposed to do. So build it the MVP mode using the partners, using open source tools is my 2 bits.
no, but the Girish, if they don't find the right partner, they might use the wrong open source tool.
Agree.
That's the
That's
challenge
also
that the most of the founders face. Like when the technology partner is not clear about the outcome, then they are likely to use the wrong tool.
So before we end, I just wanted to add one solution which I have found. Okay, today in the market there are a lot of low-code platforms. So none of the technology partner I have met till now is capable of giving a ready solution with a low-code platform. Low-code platform, the same job can be done with 1/10 the price, but you have a recurring cost. But at least to show the MVP, you have something available at 1/10 the cost of a full stack development.
We have done
something which-
exactly that, Dinakar.
Yeah. Okay.
We have
So
done exactly that.
think about that. Yeah. Thank
We
you
have
so
done
much.
exactly that, where we figured out a way of actually reducing the cost and making it affordable, and use specific tools that are available in the open source.
Sure. Thank you so much. And any other question from anybody? Otherwise, thanks a lot for a wonderful session. And may I request
Dinakar,
all
one
of you who
question.
have switched off your cameras, please switch off the
Dinakar, one
cameras for a
question.
last-minute photo. And
Sagar has
once
a
I
question,
take the
Dinakar.
photo, then I give the last word to Amarji, who always gives his elderly wisdom to all of us. Just hold on, please. All of you,
I have-
Sagar, then you got Bharti. Would you like
somebody
to
has
switch
got a
on your
question,
camera?
Dinakar.
You spoke and
I have a question.
Go ahead, Sagar.
who has a question?
I have
Sagar.
a question, Dinakar. My name
Sagar,
is
just hold
Sagar.
on, please. Hold on. We'll take the photo and then you can ask the question. Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Ask your question.
Girish, my name
Go
is
ahead.
Sagar, and I've got two. I can't call them as startups after I heard your definitions. Anyway, I've got two businesses. One is I'm into sustainable architecture design. We have a design firm for sustainable architecture, and the other one is I'm into recruitment for manufacturing firms. Now, my question is, look, this is with respect to what is happening with the recent news of the screw ups of Byju's, etc. Now, when you guys as investors invest, you do a lot of due diligence, etc. Now, don't you smell the cheese early in the early stages of all the wrongdoings and actually take precautions in such kind of startups?
So what happens, Sagar, that you looked at hundreds of startups and you selected 2, right, to invest into, and then you did the due diligence. So when red flags come in due diligence, no, you are in that commitment bias that I've already committed. So is this red flag a deal breaker? So it's like saying you liked a photo of a girl and you wanted to marry her. When you saw her, you already had that bias when you're meeting that girl. Okay, I like that photo. So that bias is at times dangerous. So people look at red flags as these red flags can be corrected. See, I've not paid GST for a year, I can correct it. I didn't file shop and license, I can correct it. So investors look at that lens. What they are not able to look at is the integrity. After 3, 4, 5 meetings also, and humans change. Human fallibility is so dynamic that and the best of the best, IITs, IIMs were supposed to teach you ethics besides engineering and management, right? So, and they went with that. They thought, IIT, IIM here, ethics must be good. They teach ethics, and this guy's worked so hard, using so little of his parents' money to achieve something so high. But they failed there. And there's no magic test that the person on the other side is true to his words, right? So I can only check GST, I can check balance things, yeah. But that's why we are saying G-install. We are saying we'll install governance. We'll say that independent director board role, which Infosys or others have instilled inside. So if someone is deviating, it is the entire organization knows that this person is deviated. He hired his wife as HR consultant and paid her month salary. So all that deviation is exposed at least. Right? So you have that governance inside the organization to ensure that small fires are caught instead of waiting for a big bomb to be found, and then nobody knows who is responsible for the bomb.
And just to add to that, Sagar, is that maybe, when they started off, they may not have the intention. They would be humble and they would be grounded and they're looking at the funding to grow and all of that. But over a period of time, this whole game of valuation and next round series funding and your ability to acquire some other company and keep growing your top line instead of working on the bottom line, right? At some point of time, that's like sitting on a tiger, right? When you sit on the tiger, you really can't get off. And then that will lead you to places where somewhere you compromise on your intention and your integrity.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Amarji, last words for you and then we'll close. You're on mute, Amarji.
Amarji, you're on mute.
Yeah, you can hear me. There's some. Good evening to all. Thanks to Giriji and my good name and partner Amar. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah,
Yeah, please go on.
Yeah, wonderful session on what a startup could be a successful one. I think so. Very
I think we lost you. Anyway, so thanks a lot. Thank you so much. And then let us wait for the next sit chat on next Thursday. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting us.
And
thank you. Yeah.
and goodbye. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Bye.